So the clock struck midnight on 2022, the new year's here, and the hangover hopefully is fading, and it's time to consider New Year's resolutions. Always a thorny topic. I find people have all sorts of takes about which ones are good and which are bad. So I decided that this year, instead of doing a best and worst of 2022 video or setting myself some more boring resolutions like join a gym or learn to drive, both of which I sorely need to do, by the way, I thought I would set out 5 New Year's film resolutions. And I'd love to hear what your ones are after you've watched this video. In 2022, I've really been reflecting on my love of cinema. And it hasn't gone away, but it has been complicated. I got to make a really important artistic project for me, and I also, for various reasons, didn't go to the cinema very often this year. And so I had a kind of a time away from cinema where I played games and read books. And I'm really looking forward to jumping back in, both into cinema and into this channel. And so that's what these resolutions reflect. And my first resolution is about broadening my horizons of film. One thing I want to do this year is to pick an international cinema that I don't know much about, and then work my way through it methodically, learning about it. One of my kind of research specialties is exploitation film of Italian cinema, particularly the 60s and 70s. And it means that I know that whole group of movies quite well. There's a lot of films in there, but I know the key personalities, the actors, directors, the writers, and so on. But looking at some of the end of year lists, I realize I know very little about, say, Indian cinema or African cinema, which is a huge, body of different countries worth of films. And Latin American cinema, again, a very big body with lots of different work in it. And ideally, I'd like to get to a level of familiarity with one of those bodies of work, like I have, say, with Korean cinema. So I haven't picked which yet, and I'd love to get your input in the comments if you have any particular ones you think I should try out. But the two that are really jumping out to me at the moment are Latin American cinema, because I've seen English language work that has come from directors who started off there. And also Indian cinema, particularly the older stuff, because it's really present in British culture because of the relationships between our countries, some of the good and a lot of the very, very bad. And it's also something that I have a complete blind spot on, and I would really like to address that. Now, following on from that, I'd actually like to watch more movies in general. And again, after a couple of years of not being able to go to the cinema, I've started going really regularly. I got a Curzon Cult membership, which allows me to watch, I think, 5 films a week, which I'll never manage to do. And I can watch those at home, but in particular, I'm hoping to go to the cinema more and do that. So in the last couple of weeks, I got to see Living, After Sun, and Black Panther 2, Wakanda Forever. And that's just an example of the range of stuff that I've been able to see. And I think I missed that communal experience of sitting and watching stuff with people. And I also think I'm a better film watcher in the cinema than I am at home. Here I'm distracted by the games on my phone and things like that. Whereas in the cinema, I just get to quietly go away into another world for a while. I also want to try and keep up with the digital releases that are becoming increasingly prominent in the kind of pop culture conversation. And in particular, I think I could probably make a promise more specifically that I won't keep as well as just watch more. If I said I would watch, like, say, every Netflix new release, like the big ones, the weekly movie that they were doing last year, that kind of thing. I mean, that's a lot of movies, so maybe not that. But yeah, I want to watch more this year. I'm hoping at least 1 film a week, and hopefully 1 film a week in the cinema. In that same vein, about human connection and kind of the community around films, as well as just films themselves, this year I want to go to more film festivals. So I've already booked my first one. I'll be going to the London Short Film Festival in January, partly to go and see my own film, which is selected and happily is playing next to a film with Honor Swinton Byrne in it from The Souvenir. Very fancy, I know. So that's January, and I'm going to go and see that. But I'm looking for other film festivals to go to. I've never traveled internationally to go to a festival, so perhaps I'll go to one of the European festivals, like Uppsala, Tampere, or Black Nights in Tallinn in Estonia. I could even go to like a smaller festival that was international. There's a British film festival in Berlin called Berlin Shorts, but maybe that's not international enough if it's showing British films. Or I could go to the Hofer Kurzfilmtage, that would be good. Yeah, maybe I'll try that one out. But yes, 3 felt achievable for that. That's assuming that I will go and see basically 1 at the start of the year, 1 in the middle, and then 1 at the end. Thought quarterly would maybe be a little bit too much, and if one's going to be a holiday as well, I definitely can't afford more than that. 4 and 5 are quite specific to indietrix, but I hope that they'll inspire something similar in you and your long-term creative projects as well, because 4 is that I want to make a long-form video essay for the first time. I've made a lot of stuff that's in the kind of 5-minute mark, and a few things that are up to like the 10 or 15, particularly my on-disc releases. I really want to make something that's an hour, 90 minutes long, and I'm now looking at topics that might cover. I don't really want to give the game away too much, but some of that research specialism, particularly giallo, these 70s horror films, I think are really ripe for that discussion. And I've also recently been fascinated by ghosts and the way in which they've become more prominent in not just horror, but in drama as well. So that's maybe a ghost of an idea. And last but not least, for indietrix, I've been batting around for a couple of years a video series idea where I will visit and kind of interview the programmers behind some of the UK's best independent cinemas. And without some funding, that's going to be very difficult. But in the meantime, what I'd like to do is to start that process by making little shorts, probably going out as YouTube shorts, just looking for 60 seconds at some of the best cinemas, starting in London and then going out further abroad in the UK. I think there's something so special about an independently owned cinema because it's about an individual voice or a community voice, a group of people, and it also provides a touchstone within a community. Plus it allows for like a different sort of cinema experience than just going to one of the multiplexes, one of the chains. I'm actually going to kick that off. I'm shooting this video in December by going and seeing Casablanca just after Christmas in the Palace Cinema in Broadstairs. So hopefully you'll get to see some video of the Palace soon. And those are my New Year's film resolutions for 2023. But I'd love to hear if you have any resolutions you want to share in the comments below, particularly if they're film related. But obviously, if you do have to learn to drive or join a gym, then, let us know as well. That's it from me. But as ever, have a good one, and I'll see you next time. Bye for now.